Am I the asshole for telling my dad his decision to move on fast is the reason we feel the way we do? Hi guys. Me, 15 female, and my brother, 17 male, lost our mom 8 years ago. Our dad remarried 6 months after her death. We both found it really hard to come to terms with, and I'll admit we have been very cold and sometimes mean because of it. Our dad just moved on and he expected us to move on after 6 months. It's been a pretty shitty few years for us. And earlier this year our dad decided we all needed family therapy, and so we ended up there. And my brother doesn't want to talk. He sits and says nothing the whole time, but the therapist a few weeks ago, back in early October, asked me if I was willing to talk, and so I did. I said my brother and I were angry our dad remarried after 6 months. That he and his wife thought 6 months was enough for us to come to terms with our mom's loss and be ready for someone new living with us and trying to parent us. I said the fact they never saw anything wrong with it made us dislike them both, and that the reason neither of us bonded with the new members of our family was we were still really angry and hurt about it, and no matter how long has since passed, it doesn't erase what happened. I also said it was insulting to us that they thought she would be our new mom and that we would love her the same, especially after the way they made everything happened when they moved so fast. My dad asked if I loved my stepmom now, and I said no. My brother didn't answer the question. He then asked why we were still holding on to it after so long. I told him because he might have needed to move fast for him, but he did so at our expense, and that was not something we could just forget about or get over like it didn't matter. Things have been tense since. My brother is grounded for not opening up and I was grounded for being rude. The therapist knows all this and has asked if we wanted to do individual sessions, but our dad's wife said no. Then my dad said we're doing it as a family so we can be a family. Am I the asshole? Just adding some notes here because some things were asked multiple times. My mom's death was sudden, car accident. I am pretty sure there was no affair, but I can't say for sure. We believe they met at work after my mom died. My dad went back a week after she died, and a couple of days after that he mentioned a new coworker. We found them in bed together a month after my mom died. We think it was Ons. That then became more because a month later she was introduced to us as his girlfriend and she was unemployed, and he mentioned just before that the new coworker left. Not the asshole. This is made especially clear by the fact that you got grounded for what you said in therapy. Not the asshole, but wow, your dad is. 6 months is crazy fast, and therapy should be a safe space. The fact that you're grounded for being rude and your brother is grounded for not opening up speaks volumes. I'm sorry you're going through this. Not the asshole. Your father was and is very selfish. He may have been ready to move on after 6 months less, given that he presumably dated this woman before marrying her, but he had no possible right to demand that you and your brother process your grief at his convenience. Now he's punishing you because you're not playing into his happy family fantasy. It wouldn't be surprising if he is one of those who piously tells himself that he remarried for the kids, not for self-gratification, and resents that you and your brother aren't playing along. Your stepmother is a fool if she thinks that love can be commanded, and nothing in your post suggests that she is worthy of your love. I was grounded for being rude. How were you rude? You were encouraged to open up and you did. If they didn't like hearing it, they shouldn't have tried therapy at all. Looks like your dad thinks you guys need therapy, not he or his wife. Maybe he thinks you're harboring some kind of juvenile resentment. IDK. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Grounding both of you for opening up during therapy is literally the worst thing you can do while still trying to actively encourage family therapy sessions. You both are absolutely valid in your feelings and should be allowed individual sessions throughout this process as well. Your dad's wife should have no say in your mental health treatment, and that's a real shame she feels so entitled to it. I hope things get easier, up. Not the asshole. Sorry, you were grounded for opening up and your brother was grounded for not opening up? That's sound logic if I've ever seen it. SMH. You are in no way the asshole here. Your dad wanted you to open up and did family therapy to further get you to open up about the problem, so you did. It even sounded like you were just being honest without purposely trying to make him feel bad. I am glad that you managed to open up about this in therapy, as that is important, but how your dad is handling the information is bad. He should continue to take you and your brother to family therapy where hopefully you can take about his reaction to you opening up about your feelings. I hope that maybe the grounding was more of an initial reaction and that it wasn't fully thought out. Not the asshole. Your dad, and his wife, however, total $$ holes, emo, both for the way they handled their getting together, and the fact that they've punished you, and your brother, for things that happened in therapy. Is the therapist aware that they did this? Not the asshole. Considering your brother is 17, he's probably counting down the days till he can legally leave home. Your dad will probably never see him again, especially with the incidents leading up to his legal adulthood. Not the asshole. Your father and stepmother don't want therapy. They want a reputable third party to convince you your hurt and anger are misplaced and he and wife did nothing wrong. That's beyond fucked up. Therapy is supposed to be a safe escape to talk about your feelings. If he's gonna go and ground you afterwards, that's beyond fucked up twice. At the next session, I would start by telling the therapist about the grounding and see what he says. If they side with your father, stepmom, that's likely classified as malpractice and beyond fucked up 3 times. Isn't there anyone in the family you can ask for support? Or maybe a caring teacher? Not the asshole. I recently lost a family member. Coming to terms to the loss of a family member takes more than 6 months. I can't imagine how long it would take to come to terms with the loss of your mom. You have every right to be angry, and he should understand where you are coming from. Read me. Your father chose her as his family, but you don't have to choose her too. She's not your blood, and if you don't feel attached to her is okay. No one can force you or your brother. You two are enough family to each other. Stay by your brother's side and be the best person to him. Not the asshole. Getting married 6 months after your mom died gives me bad vibes. The fact that both of them expected you two to get over it and accept her was disrespectful, and he didn't care how you felt about this situation, and him grounding you two over it shows that. He asked a question, the both of you gave an honest answer that the both of them couldn't handle. Your stepmom and your father are selfish people who'd love to live in their Hallmark fantasy where you guys are the perfect family. Not the asshole. 100%. Wow. Your dad and stepmother are idiots as well as bastards if they can't see exactly why you feel and act the way you do. Not the asshole. My brother is grounded for not opening up and I was grounded for being rude. I'm probably going to get removed for this, but your dad is a piece of shish tea. I would have likely gone with NaH were it not for this paragraph. Things have been tense since. My brother is grounded for not opening up and I was grounded for being rude. The therapist knows all this and has asked if we wanted to do individual sessions, but our dad's wife said no. Then my dad said we're doing it as a family so we can be a family. You open up at family therapy, including on your brother's behalf about why you both feel the way you do, and your dad and stepmother react by punishing you? Yeah, that's going to go a long way so all of you can be a family. If anything, that's a better way to drive you both further away. You and your brother are not the asshole. Dad and stepmother are assholes for their selfish reaction. Not the asshole. I'm so sorry this is happening to you and your brother. It seems your brother is about to cut contact and your dad is frantically trying to keep control, but deep down he knows he's losing it. Will you also cut contact with your dad when you turn 18? Not the asshole. Grounding you both simply because he didn't like what you had to say, or didn't, in therapy is some next-level reprehensible parenting. If you get another appointment with the therapist and feel up to it, informing the therapist of how your dad has acted after these sessions should hopefully publicly shame him into realizing he's gone too far in trying to force you both to get over a shitty situation his own callousness caused. Not the asshole at all in any capacity. Do you feel safe telling your school? You and your brothers are minors, which makes the advice for next steps tough since parental consent is needed for a lot of things, but I know public schools are supposed to have a counselor on hand. Have you considered talking to that person? Or do you have a trusted teacher you can talk to? Show your dad the comments on this post. He needs a serious reality check. Not the asshole. I'm guessing your brother will be moving out as soon as he turns 18. Are you in a position to move with him so you can support each other? NTA. Wow. What an asshole your dad is. Grounded for not talking? Grounded for being open and honest? Pouting. This is why family therapy sucks and trying to force a family unit is ridiculous. I hope things get better soon. Your dad. And say no to individual therapy now, but I think both you and your bro will be in it as soon as you're old enough to pay for it yourself. Oh, dear Lord, not the asshole. I really hope the therapist lays into them for grounding you. They're clearly more concerned about making things more comfortable for them than how you feel. Therapy is supposed to be a safe place. They are so wrong about that I don't even know where to start. I will ask though, was your mom sick for a long time before her death? Some people seem to move on quickly, but have de facto not had companionship for a very long time under stressful circumstances if their spouse was severely ill. It may have been fast for you, but not so fast for him, them. Not the asshole. You sound very sensible and thoughtful. I am sorry for your loss. Your dad should not be punishing you for opening up and your brother for not doing so. That doesn't instill trust, and I can imagine you are now less likely to open up to him. He wants a family on his terms, and that's not how things work. When you say you were grounded for being rude, what was rude? Being honest in therapy, or did something else happen? Therapy is about speaking freely and openly. That is crazy to think he would make you go but then punish you for being honest. Fuck your dad. Not the asshole. My eyes nearly popped out of my head when I read you and your brother were grounded for things said in therapy. This has and will unfortunately ruin your adult relationship with your father. He failed you boys. And I'd have a real problem with that as well. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. Never before have I wanted someone to permanently stand on Lego for the rest of his life. The dad and wife. Not the asshole op. Do they really think what they are doing is conducive to a relationship? I cannot fathom what aspect of the parenting they think is getting them towards the goal they want. Grounding for what is said in therapy is literally the antithesis of helpful. They expect it to be remotely useful when they are using it as a tool to beat you? Frick that guy. Not the asshole. All I can say is that I hope you and your brother are in a position to move out the second you turn 18. I am so sorry for your loss. I promise you one day the tables will turn and he will regret being such an asshole when you both cut him out. Sending love your way. No child should have to go through something like this so young. Not the asshole. And how did they get married so fast? Were they together before your mom passed? 6 months is crazy fast just from dating to marriage, but with his wife passing, grieving, meeting someone new, getting in a relationship, proposing, and then getting married in the span of 6 months, it seems crazy if he didn't have a relationship with her already. How long did they date and how long was the engagement? I'm sorry your dad and stepmom are being such jerks. They don't seem interested in therapy, just in hearing that it's not their fault. I hope you are able to have private sessions eventually, as that might actually be helpful. Not the asshole. Marrying 6 months after the death of your mom makes me wonder if your dad had been cheating on your mom before she died. That is the question I would ask at the next therapy session. That is the question I would ask other family members to find out if they know anything about it. You are getting to the age where you should have a say in how you live. Is there any chance that you mother's parents, your grandparents, might let you come live with them? Edit to add, in the meantime focus on school and getting grades that will hopefully help you to get some college scholarships. When it is possible, try to get a part-time job to save up money. Once you turn 18 you will be old enough to move out and live your own life if you prepare yourself for it. At 15, you have the time. Not the asshole. You and your brother both need to be in therapy. And I mean without your father and stepmom. The fact that she thinks she has any right to whether or not you all go is a red flag. Your father's reactions to what happened makes him the asshole beyond a doubt. You have every reason to be angry. You and your brother need to start preparing to move out of your house. Get part-time jobs, save money, get a place and move out. If you both work together it will work out. I think your brother is silent because he already knows it's useless to speak, so he might be planning to leave as he is 17 about to turn 18. You may need to live low. Not the asshole. Once you are independent tell your dad how inconsiderate and controlling he is. Tell him he chose his new wife over his kids. This is not therapy. If you are punished for things being said in therapy or not talking in therapy, it is nothing but manipulation. You can't force feelings for other people, and you certainly can't punish people into loving others. Your father needs extensive therapy if he thinks this will work. Your brother will leave as soon as he can and never speak to your dad again, and it is likely you will follow the same path. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Geez, my dad remarried quickly after my parents' divorce, and that was hard. Having your dad be married so soon after your mother's death is just nuts. It's no wonder you and your brother are angry. I hope the therapist breaks your dad and stepmom down eventually. They need it. Not the asshole. At the next session I'd lead by saying I'm no longer speaking in therapy since your dad punished you for your feelings this time. I know it doesn't help with the family issue. But if he's grounding his kids for being honest in therapy, the therapist should know that and hopefully show him how wrong it is. Aren't they mandated reporters? Your dad and stepmom is absolutely the for several reasons. 1. 6 months is not enough time to grieve, and also where did he find someone to date and move on in 6 months without overlap? 2. Forcing you to play happy family with no concern over your well-being. 3. Grounding you for not talking in therapy. TBH I wouldn't be speaking in these sessions either. Your dad isn't looking for clarity or rebuilding a functional family. He's looking for an answer that suits him and his wife. Hence why he grounded you guys. Not the asshole. I'm sorry about this. Not sure what you want next, but this is completely damaging. I, a 35-year-old woman, wish I could be as insightful and articulate as you. Please stand your ground. You are correct. Not the asshole. NTA. One of the most knowledgeable things I have ever heard is that when you have a child, your partner has to add something in your life and of your children for that relationship to be worthwhile. Her father put someone inside your house at a time when she would add nothing to her life, quite the contrary. And do you know if they already had a relationship while your mom was alive? Because living in mourning, getting over it, starting a relationship and getting married in 6 months is ridiculous. Your father is already an asshole just for that time. Not the asshole. Gosh, 6 months is awfully quick. That likely means he was already seeing your stepmother within 2 to 3 months. How can he not see that kids would view this as a betrayal and being something he never bothered to deal with until not is like letting a wound fester for years? Grounding you guys is an insane reaction. Seems like he doesn't understand or care about your feelings whatsoever. Trying to command you both to love him and his new wife. Seems like something that is going to take a lot of therapy for you and your brother. And private therapy would probably be very helpful. Good luck on this. Not the asshole, but considering how your dad is acting, please don't blame your brother if he pulls a disappearing and distancing act the second he can afford to. Your dad takes you to family therapy and then grounds you for what you don't say in therapy? Not the asshole, and wow, I don't think this mode of therapy is going to work. Not the asshole, your dad doesn't want understanding, he wants compliance. What an asshole and hypocrite to punish you for sharing your feelings and your brother for not doing so. Oh yes, let's punish a person for opening up in therapy. I'm sorry, but your father is You should never punish opening up in therapy. I would consider saving up and putting some distance between you and him for a bit. Might be good for both of you. Not the asshole. You're wise beyond your years, I went through similar shit when I was 17, but nowhere near as bad as your situation, and reacted a lot worse than you did. I'm gonna ask that you do something which a 15-year-old definitely shouldn't have to do. Help your brother through this. You're going through some horrendous shit at such a young age, but from what you said, I'm really worried about where he's at being quiet and withdrawn and what's he's not willing to share. He is really struggling. I wish you both all the best. Oh, and your dad is a jerk for grounding you both. That is not okay. You were honest and you got grounded. Brother said nothing and got grounded. There is no pleasing your father aside from just submitting to how he wants y'all to feel, and that is an abusive dynamic. Next time y'all go to family therapy together, state plainly in front of the therapist that your father's refusal to let you or your brother respond or not respond honestly doesn't make therapy or talk outside of therapy feel safe. He is weaponizing it against you. Can you move to a relative house? Both of you need to get out of this dysfunctional house ASAP. Wish you luck. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. In a few years when neither kid is talking to their father or stepmother, I bet they will claim they have no idea why. Not the asshole. Your dad is an inconsiderate chode. Not the asshole, 1,000 times over. I've had a very similar life. I'm only getting therapy now at 50 yo, so I'm glad you're doing it now. Push for a few single sessions if you can. The age you were when you lost your mum. You don't grieve, you try to cope. You're grieving now, I imagine. Stay strong. Parents can do damage trying to do what they figure is right. You'll get there. Not the asshole. Your dad's wife clearly has no idea how therapy works and sounds like a controlling person. I hope you and your brother heal. It's very hard to lose a parent. My husband lost both of his and it's been over a couple of decades and it's still fresh. Also, grounding your brother for not opening up and grounding you for opening up is confusing. Bring that up during your next therapy session. What does he want? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Is your dad one of those helpless men who needs a wife to cook, clean, be in control of the household? Not the asshole. At your next therapy appointment, be clear that this is not therapy. This is a full frontal assault to allow them to gain ammo in an attempt to emotionally manipulate and control you. It is emotional abuse at its finest and you will not participate in your own abuse.